A lot of teams probably are having some buyer's remorse over their draftees from the 2022 class. And we got a pretty good idea as to who exactly is having some regrets and what they would change if they were given the chance. Every football coach, GM, scout, and fan knows that it's unfair to fully judge a player after just one season. Some rookies find immediate success, while others never really put it together. And some just need some more time to develop before becoming the star that many of us had envisioned. But this is also the NFL world for ya. Fans are naturally going to grow impatient with rookies at times, especially when other first-year guys at that same position are outperforming fellow rookies by wide margins. Based on what we've seen up to this point, here are the 10 2022 redrafts that we'd imagine these NFL teams doing if they were given the chance. Jacksonville Jaguars, Aiden Hutchinson over Travon Walker. This really isn't a knock against Walker. It's more so the fact that Hutchinson has been far and away the best pass rusher of the 2022 class, and that's really not up for debate. Let's keep in mind that Hutchinson was the consensus top prospect entering the 2022 draft, but the Jaguars, holders of the first overall pick, passed on him in favor of Walker, believing that the latter had more upside. Walker has made some big plays here and there, but we haven't seen the snap-to-snap consistency, whereas Hutchinson has been a game wrecker far more often than the guy taken before him. Hutchinson excels as a pass rusher and run stopper, and the Lions defense has taken considerable steps forward with him leading the defensive line. Of course, Walker could go down as the better player when all is said and done, but as of right now, if we were the Jaguars and we had the chance to redraft, we'd take the more sure thing and more proven Hutchinson. Houston Texans, Ahmad Sauce Gardner over Derek Stingley Jr. Like Travon Walker, it's totally unfair to call Derek Stingley Jr. a bust. Stingley has actually been one of the top defensive rookies here in 2022. But why settle on very good when you could have had great? And by great, we're referencing Ahmad Sauce Gardner, who went 4th overall to the New York Jets immediately after Houston took Stingley. Gardner's numbers in man-to-man coverage have been off the charts ridiculous. It reminds us of another former Jets shutdown quarterback some years earlier. Does Darrelle Revis ring a bell to anybody? Stingley Jr. has the tools to be an all-pro level corner in this league, but Gardner already looks like the NFL's next Revis/Deion Sanders/Richard Sherman. If you're Houston, you definitely take the best of the very best in a redraft instead of one of the best. New England Patriots, George Pickens over Tyquan Thornton. Bill Belichick may be the greatest GM/head coach in history, but man, the guy cannot draft receivers to save his life. I mean, who can forget him taking N'Keal Harry over Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, and Terry McLaurin in 2019? Whoops. Aside from Jacoby Myers, New England hasn't had a consistent playmaker in the receiver department. Belichick thought he was taking one when he took Baylor product Tyquan Thornton 50th overall, but New England has barely given him a chance in that offense. 2 picks later, the Pittsburgh Steelers snagged Georgia wideout George Pickens. Needless to say, the Steelers, unlike the Patriots, have zero regrets over their 2022 second-round pick. Pickens has put up excellent numbers given the mediocre quarterback play in Pittsburgh this year. He has performed a handful of jaw-dropping/acrobatic catches, and he's only going to get better from here on out. The Patriots lack a reliable deep threat who can work the sidelines. Thornton is a speed burner and not much else, but Pickens can just do it all. That sounds like someone this flawed New England passing game could really use. Los Angeles Rams, Tariq Woolen over Kobe Durant. The Los Angeles Rams didn't have a whole lot of draft picks to work with this year, having spent a bunch of them to improve their Super Bowl winning roster. It was well worth the gamble, but it also put some extra pressure on the team's front office to make good on their limited picks. That means catching some diamonds in the rough with those day 3 selections. The Rams had the perfect opportunity to do just that with the 142nd pick of the draft, but rather than take UTSA cornerback Tariq Woolen, they went with South Carolina State corner Kobe Durant, who may have the better name, but certainly hasn't had the better rookie season. Woolen has been an absolute stud in his first NFL season, and to make matters worse for the Rams, he just so happened to fall into the lap of their division rivals, the Seattle Seahawks. Through the first 12 weeks of the season, Woolen has 5 interceptions while giving up a passer rating of just 70.6 when targeted, according to PFF. Considering how depleted the Rams' secondary depth has been and how little they've gotten out of Kobe Durant, you can't help but to think that they're kicking themselves for passing on Woolen. New York Giants, Charles Cross over Evan Neal. Armed with 2 first-round picks in the top 7, the Giants had the right thought by using the number 7 pick on an offensive lineman. Andrew Thomas is a rising star there after all, but the rest of the O-line left a lot to be desired. New York drafted offensive tackle Evan Neal 7th overall, right after the Carolina Panthers took fellow OT Ike Mekwonu 6th overall. Many viewed Neal as the most polished offensive line prospect in the 2022 draft. But before he suffered an MCL sprain mid-season, his play was far from ideal. Through his first 7 games, Neal garnered a woeful PFF grade of 49.8. They had him down for 2 penalties and 5 sacks and 392 offensive snaps. That just isn't NFL starting caliber at all, and this guy was supposed to be an immediate upgrade at the tackle position. 2 picks after Neal, Charles Cross went 9th overall to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Cross has made his fair share of rookie mistakes, like all offensive linemen, but his pass blocking and run blocking has helped Seattle's offense return to elite status in the post-Russell Wilson era. Cross has been absolutely vital in the turnaround on Seattle's O-line, and he's only going to get better from here. Considering that both the Seahawks and Giants are in playoff contention right now, we're confident the G-men would rather have the 2022 version of Cross instead of Neal. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Isaiah Likely over Cade Otton. If only the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had known ahead of the draft that Rob Gronkowski was retired, then maybe GM Jason Light would have addressed the TE position much earlier. Instead, Light waited until round 4 to take Washington product Cade Otton at number 106 overall. With the 139th selection, the Ravens found an even more productive tight end and Coastal Carolina standout Isaiah Likely. With Pro Bowler Mark Andrews missing time to injury, Likely stepped in as a productive TE1 for the Ravens. Otton, on the other hand, hasn't been at all productive in the Tampa Bay passing game. He didn't notch his first touchdown of the season until week 9 against the Los Angeles Rams, and even when starting tight ends Cameron Brate missed time to injury, Otton was hardly visible. Likely has fit right at home in Baltimore's rush-heavy offense, providing plenty of value as a run blocker. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay's offense has been in disarray for most of the season, and the unproductive ground game is a key reason why. Surely, Likely's blocking would have helped there. Minnesota Vikings, Jack Jones over a Caleb Evans. The secondary was Minnesota's biggest need entering the draft, so it was understandable that they used their first 2 picks on defensive backs. Safety, Louis Cine at number 32 overall, and cornerback Andrew Booth Jr. at number 42. With a number 118 overall pick in round 4, many continued to prioritize the secondary by taking Missouri corner Caleb Evans. Again, they did have the right idea. It's just too bad they took the wrong corner. The Vikings have given Evans very little playing time on defense, and then 3 picks after him, the Patriots found a hidden gem of a corner in Arizona State standout Jack Jones. Jones and teammate Jonathan Jones have been 2 of the NFL's elite cover corners in 2022 by just about every major metric. Jack is flourishing as a ball hawker and cover man, and it's no wonder the New England defense hasn't missed a beat even without J.C. Jackson. Minnesota will make the playoffs, but their struggles against the pass leave us skeptical about their ability to go on a Super Bowl run. Having a reliable shutdown corner like Jones could have changed that. JJ and Booth Jr. would have given many 2 quality young corners to build around long term. Houston Texans, Tyler Linderbaum over Kenyon Green. The Houston Texans had the right idea when they took an offensive lineman with the number 15 selection in the 2022 draft. It's just, well, they took the wrong guy. Needing to beef up the interior offensive line, GM Nick Caserio selected Texas A&M guard Kenyon Green. Now, Houston had a plethora of flaws entering this draft, but pairing a promising prospect like Green with veteran mainstay Laramie Tunsil seemed like a good idea at the time. Green has been one of the absolute worst offensive linemen here in 2022. He is below replaceable, at least according to Pro Football Focus's metrics. His pass blocking has been awful, and his high penalty totals have just been a total momentum destroyer. And then there are the Baltimore Ravens, who drafted a rising star in Iowa center Tyler Linderbaum with the number 25 pick. Linderbaum has fit in perfectly on that O-line, putting the final touches on a unit that was already among the NFL's best in terms of both run blocking and pass blocking. And with veteran stalwarts Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Moses there to help him out, Linderbaum is in great position to shine long term. If you're the Texans, you gotta be kicking yourselves a bit for not taking Linderbaum. Green has been too much of a liability on that O-line all season long, and it's clear that he has lots of catching up to do, whereas Linderbaum is already performing like a seasoned veteran and Pro Bowler. Ah well, there's always the 2023 draft to find your center of the future. San Francisco 49ers, Dameon Pierce over Tyrion Davis-Price. It made very little sense for the 49ers to use the number 93 selection on LSU running back Tyrion Davis-Price. They already had an RB1 in Elijah Mitchell and two quality understudies in Jeff Wilson and Trey Sermon. Wilson, of course, was sent to the Miami Dolphins ahead of the trade deadline, and Sermon wound up getting waived in an unexpected move. And yes, the 49ers made a giant splash at the trade deadline by acquiring Carolina Panthers superstar Christian McCaffrey. Now, just imagine if the 49ers also had Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate Dameon Pierce in the backfield instead of Davis-Price. The latter missed time with a high ankle sprain, but when healthy, has barely saw the field. Houston took Pierce to the number 107 selection in round 4. He's been one of the few bright spots on a very lousy Texans team, and surely the rookie workhorse would have been a 1,000-yard threat in Kyle Shanahan's offense. We would love the Run CMC trade for San Fran, don't get us wrong, but maybe San Fran doesn't have to surrender all that valuable draft capital for him if instead they draft Pierce over Davis-Price. Either way, having Pierce in this offense would have taken San Fran's offense to a whole nother level. Carolina Panthers, Bailey Zappe over Matt Corral. The QB-needy Panthers didn't find any solutions via trade or free agency ahead of the draft, so they took a chance on Matt Corral, taking the Ole Miss signal caller with the 94th overall pick. Unfortunately, Corral suffered a Lisfranc injury in preseason and was ruled out for his entire rookie year. The Panthers wound up rotating Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, and trade acquisition Baker Mayfield at quarterback. But let's be real, none of these three guys are long-term solutions. With the number 137 selection in round 4, the Patriots took Western Kentucky signal caller Bailey Zappe, and boy did this guy outperform his draft position in the 2 games he started. With Mac Jones and Brian Hoyer injured, Zappe had to enter the Pats' Week 4 game against the Green Bay Packers. He went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers and nearly led his team to a stunning win, but they fell just short in overtime. Zappe kept New England's playoff hopes alive with easy wins over the Detroit Lions and Cleveland Browns. He just plays with so much confidence and poise, and though the sample size is small, we really do see a capable NFL starting QB here. Zappe could have made a serious push for Carolina's starting quarterback job if they had drafted him over Corral. That didn't transpire, and rather than rely on Corral to get healthy and produce in 2023, Carolina would be wise to draft a quarterback with their first overall pick. But what other 2022 NFL draft mistakes would you do over? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.